Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel today for another movie review. Now, today we're reviewing the film Silk Road. This is going to be dropping digitally and on demand and in theaters February 19th. Then immediately after that, 4 days after that, it's dropping on Blu-ray and DVD. So February 23rd, you can get your hard copy of this movie if you choose. And this film is based on some real actual events that happened. And, you know, while they exaggerated some things to kind of make it, you know, cinematic and whatnot, overall, it told an interesting story. A story that I, you know, upon reading the synopsis, I was like, yeah, I definitely want to check that out. Because I was not familiar with this. But what happened is that you have this young kid, this kid Ross, who in his own way, he wanted to kind of give the power back to the people. And by doing so, he created a dark web version of eBay that sold illegal drugs. So essentially, what you can do is on this website, Silk Road, that you can go in there and purchase illegal drugs of any kind and get it shipped to you by U.S. Postal Service, and you wouldn't get arrested for it. Well, unless you shipped it directly to your house. You had to like ship it to like a neighbor's house or something of that sort. And the way how it worked is that because of his system, it didn't have who it was shipped from. And like, of course, this made a ton of money. And with this making a ton of money, of course, it's going to catch the eye of the government and law enforcement. And that's where you have Rick Bowden, a DEA agent, played by Jason Clarke, one of my favorite actors, which ultimately is the reason that got me in the door with this film. He is a cop who is old-fashioned Old Testament. He does things one way and the way he always learned and so on. And why he might have been good at it, he had some troubles in his career, and they ultimately have shifted him to a new division. Now he's in cyber crimes, and like obviously now this is like clearly keen for like the millennials, like, you know, having to use the internet and all this other stuff, and he just is completely lost. But yet he stays determined to stay relevant and try to find purpose in this new position. And ultimately he works between his old office and his new office, trying to find something to get into, and he stumbles upon this because he has some connections still in the streets because of some of his work in the past. And he finds out about, you know, this multi-million-dollar organization that's going on in the dark web. So you have Rick going to figure out who is the source of this website and how he can take it down, along with some of his own other personal problems that he's going through. So yeah, it's an interesting story nonetheless. Again, you know, you have Nick Robinson playing this character Ross. Nick Robinson just coming off of that show Teacher from Hulu, and also other movies you may know from, like Love, Simon, I think that's the name of it. You know, he plays this, you know, this young, shall I say, he plays this stereotypical like type of hacker or some sort. Very, you know, he has a girlfriend, but he's so determined on this, he just is completely oblivious to the absolute world around him, and he just keeps digging himself deeper and deeper, and he's obsessed with it. I think it's a very one-dimensional role. If you've seen this role, you think you've seen this role before, you probably have, so you're not getting a lot out of that department. Jason Clarke, there's a little bit of a bias here. Like, I like him. Yes, I am one of the few people who like Terminator Genesis, but I'm a huge fan of him, and I thought that his performance was super solid and was the catalyst of making this film actually function, because other than that, it would just be just an interesting story that you're just waiting to see how it all resolved. But like, yeah, Jason Clarke's character as the DEA agent is very interesting, and has different level of intensity as the film goes, as the story progresses. So like, you're gonna find things that you're gonna find entertaining, some you're gonna find a little bit stiff. So, but nonetheless, I think it makes the film go. As far as the film structure, I was not a fan of something that I don't think I've ever said in a review ever, but I definitely wasn't a fan of how the scenes transition. Like, it was weird. It was definitely a weird transition that they were using throughout this film. And then, yes, it was unique, but it was just, I just wasn't a fan of it. So I don't know. But With that being said, there's a ton of familiar faces within the supporting cast. So you're definitely going to see a lot of people that you've seen in other projects, both recently and of some time. So you definitely will see, maybe some of your other favorites. With that being said, all the acting is kind of really nothing is really jumping out. I mean, this movie is really driven on the curiosity of how this story plays out. Again, based on actual events with some exaggeration. So you're just kind of seeing what's going to be the action, how does it all unfold, and et cetera, et cetera. But the real biggest thing for me is that I felt, because of how things were kind of progressing in this film, I felt this film would have been much more suitable for a miniseries, like at minimum. But yeah, if it could have did 8 to 10 episodes, I definitely think it was possible, because there was times where things were just moving so fast. You just like, but how? What did I miss? Because it just was just jumping to things to get through the film and actually missing what I believe some really good detail to the story. So if they could have filled out some of these little gaps, like, I think it would have proved to be like a better story told. Like, for example, like, he went from wanting to plan this website to the website making a ton of money like that. Like, it just really moved that quick. And I think it would have just been a better served if it was a mini series at minimum. The other thing I will say is that I feel like things in the plot, because even talking about this, I'm sure you all like, yeah, this sounds very familiar. When you heard this story once, you heard it all before. Yeah, there are things that I will say was very familiar, and I won't say absolutely predictable, because the end definitely caught me off guard. I definitely didn't see that coming the way it did. Maybe you all might, who knows? But I will say, like, there was elements of the plot that was familiar, and you may even deem it as being predictable, but it is what it is. But I also thought that the ending, I thought it was really well done. I like how it all came together, and it caught me off guard, because I definitely didn't think it was going to end the way it did. But with that being said, I thought even with that, I thought it was still entertaining and a good story, at least. And I think that anybody who may find interest in even watching my review or reading a synopsis, then I definitely think you should check it out. You won't be disappointed. Like, I didn't like watching and just was instantly pissed off, like, wow, that was terrible. It just it lacked a little bit more depth in the story than I wish it would have had. So, but nonetheless, check it out. Jason Clarke, again, fan favorite of mine. So I appreciate anything he's in. And then Nick Robinson, who's just been really popular within 2020, coming into this year. I'm sure he has a lot of people interested to see the depth of his career and see what's next for him, showing a little bit of diversity, I'll say, in his recent performances. So, but yeah, check this out. Again, it's going to be dropping in theaters on demand digitally February 19th. And if you don't make that, then hey, it comes out on Blu-ray and DVD 4 days after. So let me know in the comments what you thought about this film, if you've seen it, and if you're going to check it out. And as always, so stay tuned, because I got more reviews coming to you soon. Thank you for watching, folks.